So when I found out that part of the reason for me standing in this pronated position is that my forefoot was in an inverted position relative to my rear foot, I was really blown away by this. And I thought, okay, all this time I've been focusing on the rear foot support, insoles, orthotics, but now I understand that the forefoot is inverted in relation to the rear foot. And that's causing me, when I stand on the ground, to be in this pronated position. And so my thought process was, I don't need to support the rear foot as much. I need to get this forefoot towards the ground. And so how do you take this forefoot that's stuck in this position towards the ground? Just looked at traditional physical therapy and training protocol is I need to loosen up this tissue under here and go through a range of motion. And so if your forefoot is stuck here, we're doing the soft tissue here, and then a simple range of motion. And we can see as we go into flexion, this joint is going to come up and be inverted versus extension is going to be everted. And so you do simple flexion extension at the foot, and then also work on stability. So once you restore that traditional alignment where the forefoot is relatively neutral in relation to the rear foot, now that this is restored, we need to be able to stabilize. Now, this is where I took it too far and I didn't understand the proper loading and propulsion mechanics because, for so many years I had been excessively pronating during the loading phase. And so I was really focused on, I don't want to pronate at all. I want to grip the ground with my toes. I want to keep a high arch. And I feel like this really beat up my big toe especially. And so always resisting pronation, always trying to keep that high arch. And I had done this for many years until I came across some of David Gray's work where it was allowing your foot to go into a good loading position, don't grip the ground with your toes. And so this was a real groundbreaking moment for me where I felt like I had good alignment of the foot, but I was allowing myself to get into a good loading position. And so we could go into this loading position without having to grip the toes. And so what going into this position allows you to do is have a good flexion angle here, lengthen the tissue here. And so this excessive pronation, of course, would excessively lengthen out all the tissue and be correlated with this movement. I was resisting loading, which it works when you're in a static controlled environment, but playing sports, you're either going to continue to go in or resist flexion altogether. But to be able to control your loading, have good mobility and the right amount of stability, be here, this is going to allow movement while staying in good alignment. So we had poor movement, poor alignment. Say, all right, let me overcorrect and really resist any movement at all, and then learning how do you properly move so that you can still have flexion while staying in good alignment.